Carbonites Gaming.
Welcome back, Knights. I think today we're going to continue our, Fusion series, and take a look at what monsters would be good for the next fusion for you. The last one I think we talked about was Veramos, which is always going to be my recommended first fusion monster. But as per usual, before we start up our video, we got to crack that beer. There we go. All right. So my second fusion monster that I would recommend is going to be a damage dealer. Everybody needs a damage dealer. And who better for damage in essentially the vast majority of the dungeons you can do except for Necro. So I'm going to recommend Sigmarus. Stop showing stuff. There we go. So Sigmarus, the water phoenix, the water chicken, a lot of people will call it a chicken. Um, Great damage dealer. All right, so we'll take a quick look at Sigmarus's skills. Here you go. So what do we got? So 18% chance to stun. Eh, whatever. Um, Damage proportionate to the enemy's max hit point and a freeze. So the max hit point, if you're looking at a Giants B10 run or the water dungeon, like the water, whatever the hell it's called, where you get the essences and stuff. Um, the enemy's max HP, that's a big bonus. So I'll run this through, I'll put it on a Giants team. I'll put it, I think it's already in my water um, team. If that's an open thing, I'll show you that today as well. And then third skill, another attack based on the max HP and a freeze. And this time it's an AoE attack, attacks all enemies. So you're looking for a monster now that can do wave clear, that can do big damage on a boss, and chances for freezes and stuns. So you also have crowd control. What better monster to start off as a good damage dealer than something that can do that much with that kind of versatility? All right, so let's take a look. I will throw it in. Let's throw it in my Giants team here. Take out a Lucian. Which Lucian are you? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch afterwards. I'm going to take the runes off of this Lucian, and I'm going to do a quick damage test with a Sigmarus just to show you. I'll show you the runes I have now. It's a lot slower and a little less attack. It's got more attack, but these runes will change once I put it onto the Sigmarus. So we'll keep him in there. Now my Sig is slow. It's on Swift, and it's still very slow. The way I've ruined all my monsters is as soon as I pull them, I throw runes on them, and I don't change them. So this is essentially from when I fused this Sigmarus. All right, so we'll make sure Sig gets in there, and hopefully there'll be somewhere where this Sigmarus can throw a couple attacks down. We can look at some damage. Now, here's a big thing. Why do we want a Sigmarus? Why do we need a damage dealer? Let's say, why are we taking Sigmarus over um, a Katarina, right? A Katarina is not a bad monster, but there's one thing with Katarina is that she needs a lot of setup. She needs that invincibility that she would get from, say, Arena, which isn't really going to help, or a Kabezanuf, which isn't really going to help. Um, with needing that setup, you're going to miss a lot of the chances you get to use her to her full advantage. Whereas a Sigmarus, right, you throw a defense breakdown, uh, and then here let's take a gander here. Get rid of that. So I'm kind of wanting an attack buff. Oh, well, that was kind of a bad showcase. Um, anyways, you can see that Sigmarus does work. The rest of my team is could probably run this by themselves anyways, but the ability for Sigmarus to attack with a max HP boss is a big deal. I'll try it one more time and I'll pay a little more attention once we get a bit closer. So why else would we take Sigmarus? Where else could you use Sigmarus? Well, you can use it in Giants, which I'm doing currently. If you watched my previous video of a Dragons B10 team, Sigmarus is great. Once again, you're hitting with that enemy's max HP. That's a big skill to be hitting with. You get an attack buff and a defense break, and you're doing big, big damage. Um, I use my Sigmarus in Labyrinth against the Fire Boss. Once again, it's a max HP hit. So it's a great time to be using that. So here, we're just going to get things set up so that we can actually do what we want on the boss here. So let's see what kind of damage we're looking at. All right, so we got our defense break. Squall that. Slow everything down a bit here. Now I'm going to use third skill. Do I want third skill? Which one do I think hits better? I think the for single target, Frozen Orb. So let's hit second skill on the boss here. Slow her down to 1-ish. And see what kind of damage it's hitting for. So 41,000. That's not bad. Not bad on a Giants run, right? Takes off a fair amount of the HP. Obviously, you can't freeze the boss. That would be a little overpowered. But essentially, it's a good starter damage dealer for a Giants team. Let's see what that rolls later. Let's see. What do we have for dungeons today? Dark. Well, I'm not going to run it in dark. So let's throw it in here somewhere. Who can we put it in here for? You know what? I will run my starter. Once again, starter Dragons team. And this should hopefully do just swimmingly. So once again, these are all fusible monsters, 3-star monsters. I think that's it. Or Hall of Heroes, not Hall of Heroes, but the things where you get them, dungeons. Secret dungeon monsters. So every one of these is once again super easy to get and effective, right? So once again, you're looking at my Sigmarus is 36 speed. I think I've got my Belladon is on a like speed, HP, accuracy, so no big damage there. My Veramos is speed, HP. Trying to think. My Verd is speed, crit rate, attack, I think, but they're all 5-star runes. And then my Megan is probably speed, HP, something around there. Maybe speed, HP, attack. But the big thing is you've got your defense break, you have a cleanse, you have a heal, you have a strip, and you have big damage, as well as attack bar manipulation. So you have that ability to boost your attack bar a lot more. Plus you have your buffs. You have your defense buff and your attack buff. So as a starter team, this is a really, really safe starter team. And now I'm going to say that, and it's probably going to do something stupid and die off or something like that. But hopefully Sig gets a bit of damage in there. But yeah, so Sigmarus is going to be my second recommended monster for a fusion. Absolutely great as a damage dealer, and they're really easy to ruin. As you saw, mine's on a swift blade, which isn't a bad build, but it's got no speed. You just have to figure out where you can get that attack bar from. So a Megan and a Vertiheel, as well as a Bella, there's more than enough attack bar manipulation to get you going. So a minute 46 on that run, not a bad time for a bunch of fusion monsters. What am I looking at in there? What else can we use Bella or Sigmarus in? Well, we can. Let's switch those runes over first of all. Where's my Sig? And for those of you that are looking on here, if you haven't seen my account before, yes, this is a free-to-play account. I don't know how I've had the luck that I've had, but I have. So let's throw those ones on there. That way I can remember that they're there. Let's get our Lucian and throw these runes onto Sigmarus. There we go. So now we have a Sigmarus with more damage, faster, higher crit rate, more crit damage. So let's see how this thing does in our... you know what? Let's run it through dragons again. See if it helps out a little more. So this is probably my best Rage Blade set. So obviously I put it on a Lucian because I use Lucian in Giants and Arena, wherever else. But you know, the ability to be able to use that big damage is gonna be pretty helpful here. So 14,000 on a normal hit. No defense break, not a bad place to be. So how would you rune this Sigmarus is another thing that a lot of people think, right? Obviously you want big damage, but you want a bit of accuracy because you do have a couple freezes, some stuns, you have an attack break, which is really helpful. And then you need a bit of speed, right? You don't want to be cut in. It's not a tanky unit. It can be taken out pretty quickly, but you want to be able to get those skills off as well, right? So one way to look at it is a speed, crit damage, and attack with some crit rate subs, some crit damage subs, um, an attack crit damage attack, which is what this build is, and it's good, but you really need those some strong speed subs if substats if you're going to be looking that way. And then you got to look at what else are you going to use Sigmarus for, right? Are you going to use it for a TOA? It's a really good TOA monster. It does damage based on the enemy's max HP. Well, you look at it, the final boss in TOA, that's a lot of HP. Even a lot of the monsters in the waves, that's a lot of HP that you're going to be hitting for. Well, this isn't as good as I would like it to be. Uh-oh, folks. But yeah, like other ways to build it, like you saw in my normal build on her, is was it Swift Blade, and that's I just put Swift. It's attack, crit damage, attack. And the only reason it's on Swift is because I couldn't find any speed subs when I first pulled the Sigmarus, so I get the extra 36 speed from a Swift set. So it's about the only way I could go with it. Let's take a gander at let's do another quick Giants run. Grab a bit of energy. I think I'm gonna take that one out. Put the one with runes back in. Now let's see if it does anything with this extra speed and the extra attack. Hopefully this goes a bit quicker. So at the end of the day, Sigmarus is really good with essentially any damage stats, right? You're looking for crit damage, crit rate, and attack. Speed is going to be helpful, but essentially you want a fair amount of crit rate. You want at least probably 70 to 75% as a minimum. You do get an extra, I think it's 15% against weak elements. So for Perna or for Sigmarus that would be fire. You'll get an extra 15%, and it's equal obviously to water. But these big hitting skills need attack, crit damage, and crit rate. And if you don't crit, your crit damage is essentially useless. So these are 43,000, not bad, not bad. So these are the types of builds. You can go any blade. Blade's always going to help. You're going to get that extra crit rate bonus. What else? What else? What else? As you saw with mine, Swift. Swift isn't a bad setup if you need that extra speed, but the extra speed is where's that monster? So these are the runes that I had on my Sigmarus, and what is it? Attack with crit rate subs, crit damage with attack subs, and attack with crit rate subs. Right? So you're always looking for that attack and that crit rate and that speed. So you get a bit of each in each one. You'll get, something that you can deal with, especially as a newer player. If you're just starting up, it might be your second fusion monster, it might be your third fusion, it might be your first. But at the end of the day, what you're looking for is a bit of speed so that you can get your attacks off before the enemy goes. And you're looking for attack and crit damage. and crit rate. If you don't crit, that's what a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people do it, get a monster with a lot of crit damage, like just a ton of crit damage with like 20% crit rate. And then if you start looking at it, you get 20% crit rate and then you've got nothing else, right? If you're not crit like hitting as a crit hit, then you're not going to be utilizing all that extra crit damage percentage. So I would look at make sure you're getting your crit rate higher, get it at least above 60. 75 to 85 is kind of a good place to be. Get your damage up there. So an attack slot 6 runes good. If you need the extra speed, you can go with speed slot 2. If you can get the extra speed out of substats, get that slot 2 attack percent. Uh, Essentially everything else you're looking for is speed and crit rate. If you have crit damage subs, that's not bad. It's not going to hurt. But as long as you get that crit rate kind of up between that 75 area, um, you'll be smiling. You'll be looking pretty. And this monster does big damage on high HP monsters. So your giants bosses, your dragons boss, your rift beasts. I don't know if it counts as a max HP towards rift beasts, but I know that in the elemental dungeons, big damage, super useful. Plus for the waves, you've got that freeze, that attack decrease, and a stun chance. So for my next recommended um, fusion monster, it is going to be Sigmarus, hands down. Great damage dealer, super helpful in early game, really good in TOA, really good essentially everywhere. You can use it in arena, and everyone builds, a lot of people build fire defenses to protect against being Lucianed. What better to hit fire with than a Sigmarus? So leave a comment. Let me know, how did you guys build yours? I know mine isn't built the right way. I might look at doing some rune changes. If I do, I'll let you guys know in the next video what I did. I'll put these runes back on my Lucian because I really need those on there. And yeah, like, subscribe, and once again, if anybody has extra time, we do stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/carbon_nights. Jump on there. If we're not online, throw a follow down. It'll let you know when we jump on. Come and join the chat, and yeah, just hang out with us. We love talking to the people that watch our videos. We love hearing from you. We love getting your guys' input on stuff. I love hearing how people have built the monsters that I talk about, and it gives me some ideas as to how to tinker around with it. Also, if you did watch our previous video of the summons, I did get mad after Poseidon got all the good stuff and I got shit on. So I did a rage pack, and I don't know if anybody is um, noticing it, but I did get me a new monster. So I might be tinkering around with this. It could use a bit more speed, could use a bit more HP, but I think I like where it's at. So once again, leave a comment. How would you guys do? How would you build a Wusa? What would you change about mine? And go. Um, Aside from that, thanks again for watching, everybody, and make sure to, subscribe for more Summoners War action from me and everything else from everybody else. So, with that being said, I'm gonna finish drinking my beer, and everybody keep those shields up. Thanks for watching. Well, Knights, you made it all the way to the end. You know what that means. You've won the chance to watch another one of our videos, or perhaps even subscribe. Make sure to leave a comment, and we'll see you next time.